Be comfortable being uncomfortable. It shows growth, and it shows that your ability to do something that you weren't, necessarily good at first will strive and build more new skill sets you never had before. I've owned my own business for a year now, and some of the clienteles I was able to work with and had the privilege of working with have been with AT&T on the EDM program is what we call it. And that includes Apple products, Samsung products, Google products as well. And the cool thing is that we were able to bring their products into retailers. So I've gone into 4 different types of retailers, I believe. Sam's Clubs out in the Midwest, Targets, Fred Meyer's out in the Pac Northwest. So made a big move. Costco is another one of our clients now as well. So I'm very grateful for the opportunities and the growth that we've been doing just in the short amount of time that I've been on my own business. We are now going into other programs as well in my business as well. So we're talking about charities and nonprofit organizations, as well as B2B, which is business to business, hoping that we can open more doors and opportunities. So I started out with getting my nursing degree. And I was going to continue working my way up into qualifications into different certifications. I was thinking about doing like perinatal neonatal specialists as well. Babies were my direction. And then for some reason, I just felt like the amount of work, and no offense to the medical field, I think they've done an amazing job, and what they do now is even incredible. Some of the research side is amazing. I still keep up on it. But at the end of the day, when it came down to the amount of time I was spending versus the amount I was getting back, I did not feel like the ROI was equivalent at the moment, at least not in that aspect. So I ended up leaving the industry of the medical field and nursing and didn't know what to do, if I'm gonna be completely honest. So my dad's like, there's something down the road, why don't you start there? So I started out and just down the road and just a mom and pop like truck stop, and I was like, I could do so much more, I know I could. So I started looking for another job and found an ad for a sales position. I had no idea. I was just randomly clicking on things because at the end of the day, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You never know what you can do until you actually try it. Showing up to my first day, that was a whole other game park, okay? I needed a glass of water, I needed to chill, like the nerves were on high. But the experience to put myself outside of my comfort zone, and they pushed me to do that even more, was fantastic. It was the best blessing I could ever ask for in disguise. For this, I've never had face-to-face experience other than working with patients or working with just customers in a small setting. So out there in a face-to-face clientele position pushed me to be a little bit more social. And I'm not. I'm more introverted. I love books. I'm a bookworm. It's always been my thing. Libraries where you're gonna find me in a corner somewhere with a tall floor-to-ceiling window is my preferred placement. But this allowed me the ability to work on communication on an everyday level that allowed me the ability to even be here today, because there's no way I'd be in front of camera or even an interview without a red face, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I never had a sales position, so going out there, talking with people, I was not good at it at first. I'm pretty sure my face turned red every 5 seconds. It was so hilarious because I would fidget a little bit too much, but the more that I kind of got used to it, the better I felt like talking with people is a natural thing, and I just kind of allowed myself to like be out of the picture, so forcing myself into the picture of like communicating with individuals you've never met before. There's so many stories, there's so many cultural backgrounds I've been able and blessed to, have conversations with and talk with, and there's now people that come up to me when I'm running my business and they're like, I remember you. And it's so cool. Just the minor details have a big impact on people, and I never thought I would have a big impact in general. I just wanted to take care of my family, put my head down, work 9 to 5 every day, and I thought that was gonna get me somewhere. So some of the tips I had, even for myself, to help with success was failing forward is a big cultural thing for us. And I've never heard of it before, because usually when you fail, you feel like you got knocked down. But the perspective is where you got knocked down is what you got knocked forward, because you learned your lesson the first time. Failing forward is a blessing, because the next time you get back up, you're 10 times smarter, stronger, more perceptive of the next thing you're gonna do. So my dad is my best friend. So talking to him about any life decisions, there's gonna be some knocking heads, because I am one of his only girls out of all of us as kids. There's 5 of us. Yes, so I was raised by my dad and mainly my brothers. And they're all strong-headed, so that's where I get it from a little bit. But going and venturing off the path was not ideal. And coming into this industry, he's like, I don't know, Nessa. He's like, I don't know. And at this point, I was 22, about to turn 23. I had my own house. I had 2 vehicles. I don't know why. I was very settled, and that felt too comfortable for me. And I needed something more of a challenge. So I think he recognized that, because he also recognized the fact that I've always been bigger spirited. I wanted to go and travel. I always talked to him about that a lot. And I was like, I can do this. So I started off with it, and it really came down to the fact that my overall mentality of the industry, and then moving towards a goal that I was actually going to be proud of, was the next big thing. And once he saw that, things kind of in perspective changed for him. To run my own business is not something you say in my family quite often. I just have a drive to prove people wrong. Comes from the siblings and my dad. And it's like, and he's always instilled in us, there's nothing in this world that we can't do. Business is never gonna be a linear projection. There's gonna be miles and miles of bumpy roads along the way, but it's all about the attitude that you have it. And he's the one that gave me the best perspective of like, there's gonna be things ahead, but when you are preparing for the worst, you can always hope for the best as well. So my partner, who I met in the industry as well, and he's been a big blessing as well because of his perspective on life in general. Very reassured of himself, and when I came in, I'm just a firecracker, very confident in what I do. And I remember he told me, he is like, because I was having a struggle, and I was like, sometimes we lose our way. And he just gave me a perspective. He's like, do you not feel like there's like more positive days in there? And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm focused on like the now and the negative, and at the end of the day, there's gonna be something better going on. And as long as he's with me side by side with doing that, like that's nothing. That's the drop in the water at the end. So some of the biggest books that have helped me operate and strive to continue growing my business that I have right now starts with the first one, which is Atomic Habits, which is by James Clear. And it starts with structural habits, and we all have bad habits and good habits. So it broke down how to break my bad habits, and also gave an outline how to build good habits. And that was something I was struggling with the most when I had no industry that I was putting all my time, energy, and effort into. Like I was just kind of out there free flowing it day to day, and there's just no structure to it. So I regained structure when coming back into and finding this industry. Then the second one was the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, I believe. The cool thing is that I'm very cool, calm, and collected sometimes. There are other times I'm not, but when it comes to finding passion, like you wanna times it by 10, and I didn't realize that until I was reading this book. So in this industry and in life in general, I'm very grateful for, my dad, who single-handedly raised me to the individual I am now, and I still call him to this day, even for things that he may not know what to give me advice on. As well as my partner, who, I randomly took a trip and relocated and met him less than 12 hours later, which is crazy. And ever since then, side by side, we've had our ups and downs, but the conversations that come out of it has been a big blessing to me, because not only is he there and he understands, but he challenges me and he pushes me, to be outside of my comfort zone. And hopefully I do the same thing for him on different levels. But with someone like these two, there's honestly nothing I can't do. And I don't tell this to them often, but to show my appreciation, yeah, absolutely. But absolutely, there's nothing in this world I won't do. And it started out with my brother needed funds for college and this and that, paying for my dad's other stuff. And then it ended with, taking care of it. Like my dad can randomly come out here and my partner and I can randomly go out and meet his family and stuff. And it's a huge opportunity, but it's the biggest blessing I've ever had. So I'm very grateful for it. Any parting advice? I would say if you feel like you're sick to your stomach, you're probably doing something the right way. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. It shows growth, and it shows that your ability to do something that you weren't, necessarily good at first will strive and build more new skill sets you never had before.